Harvey, and Irma. By the Red Cross's own admission, it collected $350 million in donations to help those affected by Harvey alone. But again, where did the money go?
The floodwaters didn't stop rising.
The water raised all the windows. They're full of water. All my windows have to be replaced.
Melanie turned to the Red Cross and applied for a little financial help.
I got a response yesterday via text message that said that we were not approved.
This text broke Melanie's heart all over again.
According to NBC News, even funds the Red Cross had promised to pay often never reached those in need.
Lisa Davini's desperate straits tougher this week after seeking financial help from the American Red Cross and getting nowhere. Money the group promised to Harvey victims through its immediate assistance program, $400 per family. Calls left unanswered weeks after the storm.
And yet still others on the ground in Texas shared even more troubling reports about the activities of the American Red Cross.
They began to steal. Yes, I said it. The Red Cross was physically taking the donations from the doorsteps of these churches.
The fact is, unlike the claims of Red Cross CEO Gail McGovern, who says nearly 90% of the money collected goes to help those in need,
on average, 91 cents of every dollar that we spend goes to our services.
the reality seems to be the exact opposite.
For every $10 that you guys donate to the Red Cross, the victims of Harvey gets 90 cents.
About a dime per dollar actually gets to those the donations were intended to help. So with that in mind, I want to show you this video. The ICRC is the International Committee of the Red Cross, which purports to, quote, ensure humanitarian protection and assistance for victims of war and other situations of violence. Given the Red Cross's treatment of Haitian earthquake victims and Texas hurricane victims, such lofty claims give us pause, as do these lockboxes of tens of millions in U.S. currency, cold, hard Federal Reserve cash, all emblazoned with the ICRC logo. Funny, too, that the bankers are still claiming that it's Bitcoin that criminals like to use for illicit activities. Now, in fairness, the ICRC's official response to this video is not that it's fake, it's just not theirs, stating, quote, we have nothing whatsoever to do with the transaction alleged in this video. A fake ICRC logo has been used for the purposes of transporting funds. We condemn this blatant and dangerous misuse of our emblem, end quote. What you're seeing in this video may have something to do with some missing funds circa the year 2011. Remember that date, because here's where the story gets interesting. On March 19, 2011, a multi-state NATO-led, quote, coalition began a military intervention in Libya. Blah, blah, blah. You know the rest of the sordid details.
We came, we saw, he died.
It's widely known now that the coalition not only murdered Gaddafi, they also stole the country's 144 tons of gold and implemented a Rothschild central bank, which, by the way, leaves only 3 countries left on the planet without one: Cuba, North Korea, and Iran. What was supposedly never found was Gaddafi's billions in cash, billions in lost treasure which have been said that Gaddafi stashed in boxes hidden around Africa. Specifically, according to a 299-page report from the United Nations, the loot was hidden in plain sight in warehouses, safe houses, and bunkers around Pretoria and Johannesburg. Now, allow me to share quite a yarn with you. I haven't been able to independently verify any of what you are about to hear. However, given what we now know to be true about the Clinton Foundation and the American Red Cross's activities in Haiti, the plague of pedophilia and child sex trafficking around the world, and specifically in Washington, D.C. and Hollywood, what you are about to hear may not be too far from the truth. In a series of posts on crazydaysandnights.net from someone who's called Ent Lawyer, entertainment lawyer, The story goes that a church involved in child sex trafficking and pedophilia, located somewhere in a remote part of Arizona, has been involved in the most nefarious things, including the importation of orphans from Africa. But it's the third post, the church's money, that applies to what I've shared with you so far. And I'll read it. It goes like this. Why would a church way out in the middle of nowhere, America, be spending so much time in Africa? Yesterday, I told you about an experiment that has gone horribly wrong. I also told you about the bribes they've been paying to try and keep everything quiet and to also pay off government leaders in those countries for allowing their citizens to be used in an awful drug experiment and killed. Where's the church getting all of this money? Apparently, that is another reason they are in Africa. Several years ago, they learned about the presence of a map. I call it a map because it was just a sheet of laminated paper. On that paper were the names of apartment buildings and apartment numbers. These apartments were scattered across almost every country in Africa. Where was this sheet of paper located? Libya. It was the treasure that Gaddafi had stolen from his own country, and all of the ill-gotten gains he collected for being the pimp to every bad desire everyone had ever wanted fulfilled. If you go back a few years, I wrote about one of those horrible fantasies and the members of Hollywood involved. After the fall of Libya in 2011, no one could find his money. They found some, but not the assumed billion or two he must surely have stashed away. And it goes on to say that one of the lovers of one of his sons had acquired the list. Some say she acquired that list in 2012. What else happened in Libya in 2012? Yeah. Friends, I'll interject here to remind you that it was the Benghazi attack that I'm sure he's referring to in 2012. He continues, for the past 6 years, the church has methodically gone to these apartments and found boxes and boxes of cash. Literally rooms filled to the top with boxes of cash. That is a whole lot of money to move even with their connections. They then stumbled upon an idea that until recently has worked very well for them. They loaded cash in boxes belonging to a relief organization that has operations in every country of the world, including the United States. Those boxes are never checked. What a wonderful way to move money all over the world. Recently, however, in a raid by a country that actually can't be bribed, police found some of the boxes being readied for shipment. One could hope that this would throw a spotlight onto the operation, but they just have so many friends in so many places. It is going to be tough. So friends, there you have it. I will leave it to your own discretion and discernment to give this some thought, given what we know about the criminal nature of so many of these organizations, like the Clinton Foundation and like the American Red Cross, and given what we know about the Clinton Foundation's direct connection to child trafficking in Haiti and Laura Silsby, and Hillary Clinton's gloating of the fact that they murdered Gaddafi.
We came, we saw, he died.
Would any of the claims made here really surprise you?
Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. The government shut down, Congress is scrambling, and the American people are just shaking their heads. The Schumer shutdown, as I like to call it, kicked in last night. Schumer has a different name for it.
Negotiating with President Trump is like negotiating with Jell-O. That's why this compromise will be called the Trump shutdown. The president's behavior is inimical to compromise, which is required to getting things done in government.
President Trump fired back on Twitter, writing, "This is the 1-year anniversary of my presidency, and the Democrats wanted to give me a nice present." Hashtag Democrat shutdown. So both sides are playing the blame game, but here's the truth. The budget needs 60 votes in the Senate to pass. That means Republicans have to rely on a few Democrats. But the Senate Democrats refuse to play ball because they want to tie the illegal immigration issue into the budget. The Dreamer deal has nothing to do with the budget, but it's the only leverage the Democrats have. So they shut the government down. In 2013, the Republicans shut down the government over Obamacare, also not technically related to the budget. Now, the last shutdown cost the economy $24 billion. Now, that's actually the cost of the border wall with Mexico. So maybe we could just save the money so Mexico wouldn't have to pay for the wall. Now, here's what's going to happen in the Schumer shutdown. 1.3 million active duty military personnel will still be reporting for duty, but won't be paid until the shutdown ends. Disgraceful. The National Zoo and 19 Smithsonian museums will be closed starting Monday. Sorry, no Panda Cam. About 87% of IRS workers face furloughs, so don't expect your tax refund anytime soon. Now, on the plus side, unlike the 2013 shutdown, D.C.'s local government shouldn't be sidetracked. The trash will still be taken out. You will get your mail and your Social Security checks, and travel plans shouldn't be affected. Courts are going to be open, so you're still going to have to report for jury duty, but you're not going to get paid for your service. And Democrats, don't worry. It's going to be business as usual for Robert Mueller's team. So the bottom line, Democrats are putting illegal aliens over U.S. citizens once again. My idea, if the military is not getting paid during the shutdown, neither should Congress.